Main stuff I used was a long bungee cord to hold the steering wheel in place. I didn't use that one. A little bit of a pry bar screwdriver, 12 millimeter, 10 for the battery, a screwdriver for the panel, corrosion spray, and then the special lithium grease that I explained in the video for the shaft itself. My symptom, it has been for many years, is the steering wheel feels like it's sticking or binding. It happens when it gets warm. So you're driving down the road and you turn the steer and it resists and then it breaks free. So it feels like a sticking feel. So I'm gonna go over some maintenance tips and a unique solution to this problem that should fix the issue, and it should take less than an hour. And we'll see how it goes. Step one, I want you to put your seat all the way to the back to get as much room up front as you can get. The other thing that wouldn't hurt is probably releasing this lever here, putting the steering wheel up as high as it can go. And then you're going to want to remove your mat here. And then pop your hood. Abundance of caution, you're going to want to get a 10 millimeter wrench and loosen up the negative post on your battery. Like that. And remove it. This. Always wrap it in a little towel. Make sure there's no accidental contact. And now you're good to go. Probably have to move it later on, but for right now, you can put the key into the on position so you can turn the steering wheel. And you want to get maybe get your wheels going straight so that they're perfectly in line for right now. Get this plastic cover off, and you can see there's a Phillips screw right here and a Phillips screw right here. So go ahead and just start unscrewing those and get them loose. Okay, screws are out. And just pops out like that. Same I do, just as a little preventive maintenance, is I'm gonna take a look at the U-joint underneath the dust cover here. And so you just kind of undo these two plastic nuts here, and it should slip off pretty easily. So what you want to do is you want to put your hand on here while you're shaking the steering wheel, and then feel for any looseness in it. And then I would spot check this bolt right here and make sure it's snug and not loose, because if it's loose on the spline, it's going to cause a little bit of a knocking sound. Looks good. I'm going to put my 12 millimeter on here and see if it's... I can just tighten just a little bit. All you're doing is you're tightening that clamp around the spline. Real simple. And it looks good though. I'm gonna put a little protectant on it, and I'll show you in a second. Spray the U-joint in this area with a little bit of corrosion protection, since it can be exposed to the outside. I use 336 by CRC, and this works pretty good. WD-40 might work too. And literally just going to, spray it around the U-joint, and let it work in. And I'm gonna turn the steering wheel around. I got my key in, so I can turn it. And then I'll spray the other side of it and give it a wipe. Suppose that, and just kind of wipe it up. Leave that cover off to the end. Next thing you want to do is you want to grab this white safety cap thing here. Just pull it off, pull it to the side. Don't forget to put it back on. What we're going to be working on is the electric power steering right here. So we're going to have to take this off. So to start with, we're going to be loosening this up. So I applied a bungee cord just to kind of help hold it up. I just kind of hooked it to that wire up there, and then the other end is kind of going to that plastic thing up there. Just find whatever you can with a short bungee cord. I think I'll help hold it in place. And then I turned the steering wheel so that the bolt is pointing, this bolt is pointing down, so it'll be easy to get off. All right. And then the other thing I did was, once I got in that position, put a longer bungee cord. I've secured the steering wheel. Try and keep that still. Next, you want to make sure you have some marking paint ready to go. Before we get too far along, you see I put three dots of marking paint. One on the U-joint, one on the shaft, and one on the nut. And obviously you want to make sure all those line back up when we get this thing off. Hopefully I won't have to turn this to get this off. Hopefully I'll be able to pry it off once I loosen it up. But you want to get some marking paint there, and then maybe put a little bit more marking paint once you start to get this thing sliding off. This is another 12 millimeter. You can just put a regular socket on that, and then just go ahead and remove it. There we go. And you want to slowly push this thing down and off the spline. It might just slide off. I haven't tried yet, but you definitely want to have maybe a big flathead screwdriver. Act as a little bit of persuader, because it's been pinched on for a long time and it may be a little hard to get off. Doesn't appear to be tight, which is good. See, I stick my screwdriver in there and twist it. See it moving? Yeah, that's good. You can pry it a little bit. I'm probably gonna put another dab of white paint before it falls off the spline. Marked, and just kind of wiggle and pull, and she'll slide off. So pretty easy. Looks pretty good. This should be moving smoothly. We'll talk about that. We'll lube this up. For right now, just kind of push it to the side under your brake pedal. Just let it sit there. To grease the shaft, we gotta move these 3 bolts. Crap, where are they at? 1, 2, 3. In order to pull this back, you're gonna need to drop the motor a little bit, which is why we're gonna need to remove this top bolt. So basically it's 4 bolts, that's it. Step 1 is we need to break these free, not remove them, just break them free while it's securely mounted. So get your wrenches out, open end, whatever you can get to get these 3 bolts and kind of break them free. Definitely the 12 millimeter again. There you go. So you want to get that, you want to get it broken free. And it's very loose once it's broken free. So do that to all 3, right, okay? Good plan. So this one broke free pretty easy on this side right here. This was just my 1/4-inch wrench with a 12 millimeter on it. This one has got that bolt head kind of in the way. It's gonna need a little extension. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start to loosen this bolt, but not remove it. I'm just gonna get it so that it's flush with this nut so I can get my wrench straight on that. All right, for the big bolt, still 12 millimeter. I just have it hooked on here. It's real loose, so that should be pretty easy to get out now. Getting close. Yeah. Now I can get my ratchet, my wrench past that nut now. So to get my 1/4-inch ratchet in there with a small extension. Now she's ready to break loose. Now that all 3 are broke loose, we're gonna kind of leave them snug, and then we're gonna remove this bolt altogether. Keep in mind this thing's probably gonna drop a little bit, which is why we got the cord down here. All right. That's pretty easy, and this bolt just slides right out. Got a washer on the end of it, so don't lose that. And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna try and get this thing, pull it down a little bit. It's gonna be the idea. And then get these 3 bolts out slowly so we can pull this cover back a little bit. This thing's a pain. What's helping me is I've loosened this up so this can move around a little bit. And I've got a short stubby flat braid, and I'm sticking it right in the end here. I don't know if I can get to it from here, but I'm using it to pry you know, up to work on getting this thing down. I'm not sure how far it's got to go though. I gotta be careful of this wire right here. Make sure I don't pull. Maybe it's connected to it. Yeah. Anyways, we'll see how far I have to pull it down. Right, so I got it down as far as I could, and then the trick was I just gave it a little jog with the steering wheel like that, and it fell right out. So now it's loose. I've never done this either, so you know, just bear with me here. I think I'm going to loosen these up, not remove them, because I want to see how easily this plate is going to pull. I want to try and get this plate to pull off of this base here. It's going to be the next step. Not having much luck getting it free right now, but so I'm going to go ahead and just remove the 3 bolts. I'm not so sure I need this bungee cord either. It seems to be holding up, but we'll see. But yeah, so basically you can grab this shaft and pull. This whole shaft is going to come with this plate. And that's what we're going to do, is we got to get that shaft out so we can grease it. And so we're going to get those 3 bolts out, and then you're going to need, you can see it's loose. I mean, it's definitely loose. It's just, it's stuck in there. And we're going to need to somehow get this plate and this shaft to go that way towards the front of the car. No success yet, but I did want to let you know, the wiring harness that goes to the brake switch, I did remove the wiring harness to give a little bit more room and visibility up front. So it's just dangling back here. Had to remove a couple clips, and it plops right out. Not that big a deal. Figured it out. Once you get it loose, it's going to stop here because it's going to hit this effing bracket. It's okay, because this thing is the trick. This thing, the motor moves. So you can see, you can move the motor back towards the rear of the car, and that's going to help you get this thing exposed, get that shaft exposed. So go ahead and wiggle and jiggle and get this motor pushed back. So it's pushed back now, and you can see the aluminum shaft that we're going at right here. This is what is drying, what's lubed. So I'm gonna throw a microfiber towel in there a little bit, try and wipe it and clean it, and I'll show you how we're gonna lube it. Your back feels as good as mine. So you could probably throw a dry lube in there since it's aluminum on nylon, but I went ahead and bought a lubricant designed for this application. And because I was able to get it for $15 plus shipping, so because I didn't want to go back in there. So basically, NYI, lubricants for steering systems, you can see, use this here, use that there, use this here. And I really wanted to get this one here to 363, but it wasn't really available. So I got the 362 right here. VeoLube 362 by Nye. And this is going to provide for motion control greases, prevent wear and exhibit, This is a 362B lithium soap thickened, light viscosity, synthetic hydrocarbon grease, fortified with PTFE, tracker rust inhibitor, and UV tracer. And so this is light viscosity. The other stuff was same stuff, but it was medium viscosity. But this stuff I was able to readily get, and I got shipped to my door in a few days. And so we're gonna put that on that shaft, and that should fix our sticky binding steering from time to time. And I'll probably put some on that big gear that you saw that comes out. Comes with a little brush, so we're going to brush that shaft with this lube. I pushed this motor back a little bit more so I could get at this inner shaft. I did apply the grease around that. I applied the grease around this shaft, and I put some grease in these splines around here. Now, hopefully that's going to do the trick of freeing up the binding, and we're just going to reverse what we did and put her back together. So lots of wiggling and jiggling. I did have to give it a little persuasion right here with the screwdriver and pried it forward towards the back of the car, and that gave it its final little oomph, and it sat right in place where it belongs. Now we want to get these 3 bolts back in, You don't need to tighten them right now, just get them flush by hand. Now what you want to do is you want to wiggle and jiggle and get this thing lined up back in its pocket, and then get the slide bolt started, and then just a little bit, but then you got to tighten that bolt up there first before you put all this thing all the way in. This is the trick to this. I found an old tapered punch here. I stuck that in the hole to kind of line it up, and I pushed, and then when I was pushing on the bolt, I grabbed the steering wheel and I shook it up and down, just a little bit, 1/4 inch at a time, and it just popped in. The next trick was, even though it was lined up on this side, it was a little cockeyed and wasn't lined up on this side. So I just took my hand on this big round part, just gave it a little push, and it popped right in, and I was able to get it in. So now it's up flush with the nut. So now we're tighten. Now I can tighten all 3 bolts now. So why don't you go ahead and get those snug. I don't know what the torque is, but just make them snug. Everything's tightened now. Next thing I did is I put the brake wire connector back on. It was a 1, 2, 3 little clips I plopped out the screwdriver, and then of course the connector here. So that's all back in place where it belongs, and everything's nice and tight. Let's move down to the shaft here. Next, we're gonna lube this. It's not bad, but I want to lube it while I got it out. What I'm gonna use is, so find yourself a diabetic friend or neighbor and get a needle and fill it full of, it's got recommended by someone else on the internet, just some gun oil. And you're gonna take that needle and you're gonna stick it in right along the bottom of the seal on 3 locations, and you're going to use 1/3 of this. So 1, 2, 3, and just inject it in there. It's as simple as that. So you can lube, that way the splines inside will get a little bit of lube on it. There you go. Do it 2 more times. You can kind of move it along a little bit. There you go. And the last thing we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and spray some corrosion inhibitor on this U-joint here. And that'll be ready to go back on. Just let it sit for a little bit and just wipe it down. Important step before you button things up. This nut right here, it has come loose on people's cars, and you'll get a knocking sound. You know, it'll probably be loose by finger, but you definitely want to check it and make sure it's snug. I didn't have a wrench big enough to stick on it, to be honest with you. Not a wrench, but a socket. But I was able to get my wrench on it just to kind of test it and make sure it's snug. And mine is not loose, but definitely check yours before you put everything together. Wiggle and jiggle and slide this thing back on. Make sure your little white dots all line up. You can put your bolt in and snug it up. Your safety clip back on. At least it doesn't matter where it goes, as long as it's on there like that. That's so if that U-joint were to become loose, this prevents it from going too low to fall off the spline to keep you in control of the vehicle. Then you can go ahead and put this back on with your 2 little plastic nut things here. Your little plate back in, start at the top, push it in, work your way outside, put the 2 screws floor mat back in. Make sure you secure it in the safety clips. Go ahead and hook your battery back up. Grab a 10mm. Remember, your car's going to run a little funny for a few drive cycles as it relearns itself a little bit in shifting patterns and fuel efficiency. So kind of keep that in mind when you're driving it. Adjust your seat forward if you'd like. And you can disconnect your bungee cord on your steering wheel here. If you want to start the car. And we want to turn our power steering far right, far left, and work that in, what you just did, really good. Don't leave it far left or far right too long, just for a second. And then we'll go for a test drive. will tell you that there is a significant difference in the steering wheel. You know, all the binding that would get on every single turn is basically gone. It's not, you know, 2008 new, but it's perfect for the age of the vehicle and mileage. Yeah, all that binding is gone. So all I need was it needed some grease deep down in there. So I'm really happy with the results. It took a couple hours to do it right, but it's a success story. Grease your shaft, no pun intended.